Imagine a 4-story building. Now imagine an animal looking in through the 4th floor windows. Imagine a creature weighing 50 tons that's 35 adult horses. Or 8 African elephants, the largest land animals alive today. Imagine a neck 9 meters long, roughly the length of a city bus. Now imagine this animal walking the earth, breathing air, eating leaves from the tops of trees, leaving impressions several centimeters deep in the ground simply from its own weight. Brachiosaurus. The arm lizard, the dinosaur that became the symbol of the Jurassic period scale. 150 million years ago, this creature was part of a living world. Not a nightmare monster, just an animal. Today we try to understand, how is it even possible to be this large? 1900, Colorado, USA. Paleontologist Elmer from the Chicago Field Museum of Natural History is conducting excavations near Grand Junction. His team stumbled upon something unusual: bones. Enormous bones, larger than anything they had seen before. A single shoulder blade, the scapula, was approximately 2 meters in length. For comparison, an entire adult human skeleton fits within roughly the same length. Riggs understood he had found something exceptional. 3 years of painstaking work was spent extracting the bones from the rock. In 1903, he formally described the new species and gave it a name: Brachiosaurus altithorax, deep-chested arm lizard. Arm lizard because the animal's forelimbs were considerably longer than its hind limbs. This made Brachiosaurus unlike most other sauropods, whose rear legs were longer or equal to their front ones. This very feature, long forelimbs and a high shoulder, created the characteristic sloping body profile that raised the head to maximum height. The Brachiosaurus's figures require context, otherwise they simply don't fit into comprehension. 26 meters in length, that's 2 city buses end to end. 13 meters tall with head raised, the height of a 4-story building. 50 tons of weight, 8 adult African elephants. But the most astonishing feature is the neck. 9 meters. For context, a typical giraffe, the tallest living animal, has a neck of approximately 2 meters. Brachiosaurus's neck was 4 to 5 times longer. This neck consisted of 13 cervical vertebrae. Each vertebra was approximately 80 centimeters long, nearly 1 meter per vertebra, yet the vertebrae were hollow inside. Otherwise, the neck would have been too heavy for any muscular system to support. Hollow bones, nature's key engineering solution, maximum size at minimum weight, the same logic as bird bones, but on a scale birds could never dream of. Why did Brachiosaurus become so large? The answer is evolutionary and elegant in its simplicity. In the Jurassic period, terrestrial ecosystems were filled with herbivorous dinosaurs of different sizes. Each species fed on vegetation at a specific height, small ones on low plants, medium-sized ones on shrubs and low branches. The higher the vegetation layer, the fewer the competitors. Brachiosaurus evolutionarily occupied a niche that no one else could reach, treetops at heights of 10 to 13 meters. This wasn't simply a feeding strategy. It was a monopoly on a resource. By feeding where others couldn't reach, Brachiosaurus had virtually no food competitors in its tier. But large size had a price, and the price was significant. An enormous body required enormous amounts of food. The heart had to pump blood 9 meters upward. The lungs had to ventilate an extraordinary volume. Nature found answers to all these challenges, but each answer was a compromise. The most complex physiological challenge for Brachiosaurus, the heart. To raise blood from the body to the head at a height of 9 meters, the heart needed to generate colossal pressure. For scale, a giraffe with its 2-meter neck has blood pressure approximately twice normal human pressure. In Brachiosaurus, scientists calculate the pressure must have been yet another 1.5 to 2 times higher than the giraffe's. This meant the Brachiosaurus heart had to be exceptionally powerful. By some estimates, it weighed around 400 kilograms and was roughly the size of a small car. But here arises a question scientists still debate. Did Brachiosaurus hold its head constantly raised to full height? Or did it hold the neck horizontal for most of the time, as many scientists now propose? If the neck was held horizontally, blood pressure would have been considerably lower. The head would have been raised only to feed from upper branches, briefly. This question about neck posture remains one of the central debates in Brachiosaurus paleontology, another physiological puzzle of Brachiosaurus, breathing. The trachea, the breathing tube, had to run through the entire 9-meter neck. This created what is called dead space, the volume of air in the trachea that, with each exhalation, exits first, and on the next inhalation, returns first before fresh air reaches the lungs. In humans, dead space is modest, approximately 150 milliliters. In Brachiosaurus, with its 9-meter neck, dead space would have been colossal with conventional breathing. This would have meant extremely inefficient respiration. Used gas would have occupied most of the airflow. Scientists proposed that Brachiosaurus, like modern birds, had air sacs, additional air reservoirs enabling unidirectional airflow through the lungs. This not only solved the dead space problem, but also explains the hollow neck vertebrae. The air sacs extended into them too. The Brachiosaurus body was permeated by air, literally. 50 tons of living weight requires 50 tons of fuel. Scientists estimate Brachiosaurus must have consumed 200 to 400 kilograms of vegetation per day. That is approximately 2 to 400 kilograms of leaves, needles and branches every day, without stopping. For most of the daylight hours, Brachiosaurus teeth were not designed for chewing. They resembled the teeth of a comb, simple conical teeth with which the animal stripped leaves from branches like a rake. No mastication. Leaves were swallowed whole. Digestion occurred in an enormous gastrointestinal tract. Scientists suggest Brachiosaurus, like some modern birds and crocodiles, may have swallowed small stones, gastroliths, that ground vegetation in the stomach. This meant Brachiosaurus almost never stopped eating. Continuous feeding was the only way to maintain such a body in working order. Its entire life reduced to finding and consuming food. One of the most important questions about Brachiosaurus: what was its metabolism? For a long time, scientists considered all dinosaurs cold-blooded, like modern reptiles. A cold-blooded animal of this size would have eaten considerably less, been less active, grown more slowly. But research over recent decades has changed the picture. Analysis of Brachiosaurus bone structure. Under a microscope, the growth rate is visible through characteristic rings in the bone tissue, showed young Brachiosauruses grew at a remarkable rate. To grow so quickly, the animal must have had a high metabolism, more characteristic of warm-blooded creatures. Today, most scientists consider Brachiosaurus to have been mesothermic. Its body temperature was higher than the surrounding environment, but maintained less actively than in modern mammals. Giant size itself provided thermal inertia. Such a large body warmed slowly and cooled slowly, effectively creating stable temperature without significant energy expenditure. Large size as a thermostat, another elegant solution from nature. The world in which Brachiosaurus lived was completely unlike the modern one. 150 million years ago, this was the late Jurassic period. Earth's climate was considerably warmer and more humid than today. Average annual temperatures were higher. Polar ice caps didn't exist. North America, where Brachiosaurus lived, was covered in dense forests of conifers, ferns, and cycads. Flowering plants didn't yet exist. They would appear later, in the Cretaceous period. Brachiosaurus's diet consisted primarily of needles, leaves of tree ferns, and branches of coniferous trees. Alongside Brachiosaurus lived other Jurassic giants: Diplodocus, with its enormous whip-like tail, Stegosaurus, with the bony plates on its back, and predators. Allosaurus, the apex predator of the time, was formidable, but even it didn't risk attacking an adult Brachiosaurus. An adult Brachiosaurus had virtually no natural enemies. Its size was its best protection. Danger threatened only the young, and only until they grew sufficiently large. To grow was to survive. And nature gave Brachiosaurus everything needed to grow. Brachiosaurus disappeared at the end of the Jurassic, beginning of the Cretaceous period, approximately 145 million years ago. The precise cause of its disappearance is unknown. Climate change, changes in vegetation, Coniferous forests began giving way to flowering plants, and the food base changed. But the concept itself, a huge long-necked sauropod feeding from treetops, didn't disappear. In the Cretaceous period, it was continued by other giants, Argentinosaurus and Patagotitan from South America, possibly reaching 80 or more tons. When an asteroid struck 66 million years ago, the age of dinosaurs ended. With it ended the age of land creatures of this scale. Since then, no land animal has reached the weight of Brachiosaurus. Not one. The record has stood for 145 million years.